Today's tech news moves fast, but understanding it shouldn't be hard. That's why Snarful Solutions Group brings you Connecting the Dots, where we break down what's happening in tech and why it matters to you. Now, let's dive in with your hosts.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, so it's Monday, April 21st, 2025. Out here in Sacramento, it's looking really nice sunny, expecting a high around 80 degrees.
Nice day for it.
Yeah, definitely. Quick market check, the Dow Jones. That closed last Thursday, April 17th at 39,142.23.
Okay.
And the S&P 500 finished up at 5282.7. Also, just a heads up nationally, looks like the central U.S. is getting some pretty severe weather. Thunderstorms, lots of rain.
Right, saw something about that.
Yeah.
Well, welcome back, everyone, to Connecting the Dots. I'm one of your guides here from Snarful Solutions Group.
And I'm your other guide, also part of the Snarful team. And here on Connecting the Dots, we try to take all that tech news flying around and figure out, well, how does it actually connect to your life?
Exactly. What's the real impact?
So today we've got three pretty interesting things on the docket. First up, some really fascinating stuff from OpenAI. Seems their AI is getting much better at understanding images, almost thinking with them.
Yeah, that one's got some layers to it.
Then we'll shift gears and look at India's online food delivery scene. Kind of surprising, but it seems to be facing some unexpected challenges.
Mm-hmm. Bit of a slowdown, maybe.
And finally, something potentially very practical using AI in healthcare to, well, maybe make dealing with your doctor's office a bit less painful.
Definitely something many people can relate to.
Okay, so let's dive in. First topic, OpenAI and this new image thinking AI. What's the core idea here?
Okay, so OpenAI, they've launched these two new models, O3 and OFINI, and the big deal, the sort of aha moment, is they're saying these models can think with images.
Think with images. What does that actually mean in practice, like beyond just recognizing a cat in a photo?
Exactly. It's more than just object recognition. It means the AI can internally manipulate the image as part of its reasoning. So cropping, zooming, maybe even rotating parts of it.
Okay. So it's like it can interact with the picture in its mind to figure something out.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah. So this blend of visual processing and verbal reasoning lets it analyze things much more deeply.
So if I upload, say, a photo of a handwritten math problem, or maybe a really blurry sign.
Right. Or a complicated chart, the idea is the AI can now kind of dissect it visually before giving you an answer, leading to richer, more accurate results.
Okay, that makes intuitive sense.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for things like charts, where it's not just about seeing lines, but understanding the relationships. How much better are we talking? Did they give specifics?
They did. They're reporting pretty substantial improvements, outperforming older models in benchmarks for STEM questions, science, tech, engineering, math.
Right.
Also chart reading, just basic perception, visual search. They specifically mentioned one benchmark on V, which is apparently quite challenging.
V, never heard of it.
Yeah, it tests complex visual reasoning. And these new models hit 95.7% accuracy. OpenAI is basically saying they've largely solved it. So a pretty big step.
95.7%. That sounds impressive. But there's always a but, isn't there? What's the catch?
Well, yeah, here's where it gets interesting, maybe a little worrying. OpenAI themselves reported that these new models hallucinate more often.
Hallucinate? You mean they just make stuff up more frequently?
Essentially, yes. Producing inaccurate or nonsensical outputs more often than the previous versions. And what's really notable is OpenAI admits they don't fully get why yet.
Oh, that's less good. So it's smarter visually, but also more prone to errors. How do you balance that?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Especially for anything critical. They also mentioned the models sometimes overthink things.
Overthink, like doing unnecessary image tweak.
Exactly, doing manipulations that don't actually help get a better answer, and potentially some reliability issues, like getting different results if you ask the same visual question multiple times.
So progress, but definitely still some kinks to iron out. Who can actually use these new models now?
Okay, so availability. Right now, it's ChatGPT Plus, Pro, and Team users. They get both O3 and O4 Mini. These have replaced the older versions. Enterprise and education users should be getting access, like this week. And even free ChatGPT users will get a bit of 4 Mini's visual smarts through a new feature they're calling Think.
Think? Okay.
Yeah.
It really does make you start imagining, how this level of visual AI could filter into everyday tools. Better image search, maybe?
Or AI assistants that can actually look at a graph with you and explain it properly. Accessibility tools, too.
Yeah, tons of possibilities once AI can genuinely see and interpret visuals better.
Absolutely. It really opens up a whole new landscape.
Okay, let's switch gears now. Story number 2 takes us over to India, looking at the online food delivery market. You mentioned Zomato and Swiggy dominate there.
Yeah, massively. Between them, they control something like 90% of the market, near duopoly. But it seems they're hitting some turbulence.
Turbulence, how?
Yeah.
Weren't they growing like crazy?
They were. But the latest reports, looking at the last 6 months or so, show things are kind of stagnating. Gross order value, the total value of orders isn't really growing much. And people aren't ordering quite as often. Zomato apparently saw a big drop in profit, like 57% year on year.
Wow.
Yeah. And only tiny growth in that gross order value, even a slight dip in monthly users. Swiggy's losses have reportedly widened too. It feels like a market that's maybe maturing faster than expected.
Okay, so why the slowdown? Any ideas floating around?
Well, a few potential reasons. Could be a general consumption slowdown in urban India, people cutting back on non-essentials.
Makes sense.
Also maybe saturation. In the big metro areas, the top 8 or 10 cities, maybe most people who are going to use these services are already using them.
Right, fewer new customers to onboard.
And just getting existing customers to order more often seems to be hitting a plateau as well.
And what about prices? I heard that might be a factor too.
Oh, definitely. Reports suggest both Zomato and Swiggy have hiked up their fees, platform fees, commissions from restaurants,
Leading
to consumers paying significantly more, like maybe 20 to 30% costlier just between 2023 and 2024. That's a big jump.
Yeah, that would definitely make you think twice, especially younger people maybe.
Exactly. That kind of price hike can really dent demand. It also makes it harder for competitors. There's this government-backed thing, ONDC, Open Network for Digital Commerce.
ONDC, trying to break the duopoly.
Yeah, trying to offer cheaper alternatives. But even with incentives, it seems like they're really struggling to get much market share. It's tough going up against those established giants.
So if regular delivery is slowing, what are Zomato and Swiggy doing? Are they just accepting it?
Not quite. They seem to be shifting focus a bit. One big push is into quick commerce. You know, those super fast 10, 15-minute deliveries.
Like groceries and snacks delivered instantly.
Right. Swiggy has stuff like Bolt and snacks. Zomato's experimenting too. The other area is their dining out business, helping people find restaurants, book tables, pay bills. That side seems to be growing quite well.
Interesting. But that quick commerce model, isn't that really hard logistically and expensive?
Very complex logistics, questionable profitability, at least initially. And the big question is, does it actually bring in new users or just shift orders from their main platform?
Good point. And the dining out part, while growing, is a totally different business model, right?
Completely different. So they're trying things, but it's not clear yet if these pivots will fully reignite that rapid growth.
You know, even though this is specific to India, it really does feel like it highlights broader trends. Market maturity, price sensitivity.
Absolutely. And the sheer difficulty for anyone new trying to break into a market dominated by a couple of huge players, these are themes we could see playing out elsewhere too.
Yeah, definitely some lessons there. Okay, third and final story for today. Let's move into healthcare, and specifically tackling that often painful process of trying to schedule a doctor's appointment over the phone.
Right. It's kind of amazing. We have all these online patient portals, but the data suggests something like 88% of appointments are still booked via phone call.
88%. Wow. And only, 2.4% online?
Tiny fraction online. And this reliance on phones, it's inefficient, leads to errors, and contributes to this massive problem of no-shows.
No-shows. How big a problem is that?
Huge. Estimated cost to the U.S. healthcare system is around $150 billion a year. Billion, with a B, plus all the time wasted by staff dealing with calls.
That's staggering. Okay, so how is AI potentially helping here?
Well, there's this company, Assort Health. They've built an AI platform specifically designed to handle these patient phone calls.
Assort Health. And their goal is just better scheduling.
Pretty much. Improving access to care by cutting down hold times, making scheduling smoother. That's the mission.
What makes their approach different? Is it just a smarter IVR system?
It seems to be more than that. A really key piece is its direct integration with the big electronic health record systems, EHRs like Cerner and ePapis.
Okay. Why is that integration so important?
Because it means the AI isn't just taking a message. It can actually access and update patient info, check insurance, and schedule the appointment right there in real time. in the official system. No need for a human to manually enter it later.
That sounds way more efficient. Cuts down on double handling and potential errors.
Exactly. And it does more than just schedule.
Oh, like what?
It can triage calls, figure out urgency, answer frequently asked questions tailored to the specific doctor's office and even the patient's record. It can guide patients to provide needed info up front.
So collecting details before the call even needs a human.
Right. And it's proactive too. Sending out automated SMS or calls for appointment reminders, confirmations, follow-ups. It even tries to recover appointments that got canceled or weren't scheduled properly in the first place.
Okay, this sounds genuinely useful. Do they have any data on whether it actually works?
They do. Assort Health's customers are reporting some pretty impressive results. They claim a call resolution rate over 90%.
90% handled by the AI.
Seems like it. And an average patient satisfaction score of 4.6 out of 5.
That's high for dealing with an automated system.
It is. Plus, they're seeing about a 3% net gain in new patients, likely because it's easier to get through. And maybe the biggest number, a reported 63% reduction in operational costs tied to managing calls.
63% cost reduction. Wow. That's got to get attention.
Definitely seems like a strong value proposition, better for patients, much cheaper for providers.
And are they expanding? What's next for them?
Yeah, they just raised $22 million in Series A funding, planning to use that to grow their team, especially hiring more engineers to keep developing the platform.
So thinking about this from, our perspective as patients, what could this realistically mean for our experience?
Potentially much shorter waits on hold when you call the doctor, a less frustrating scheduling process, fewer missed appointments because of better proactive reminders, just a generally smoother interaction, hopefully.
It really shows how AI can chip away at these everyday frictions, these administrative headaches, in really important areas like healthcare.
Absolutely. It's not always about, moonshots. Sometimes it's about fixing the plumbing.
Yeah, well put. Okay, so let's just quickly recap the ground we covered today.
Sounds good. So first, we looked at OpenAI's new ImageSabby AI. Really impressive potential for understanding visuals, but also dealing with increased hallucinations and reliability questions right now.
Right. Then we jumped to India's food delivery market. Zomato and Swiggy facing slower growth, rising prices impacting demand, and their pivot towards quick commerce and dining out.
Highlighting those challenges of market maturity and competition.
And finally, Assort Health, using AI to automate healthcare phone calls, integrating with EHRs, and showing some really significant results in efficiency and patient satisfaction.
And pulling it all together, the common thread seems to be AI getting more sophisticated, doesn't it? Better at handling different kinds of information images, market data, even spoken conversations.
Yeah, it's moving beyond just text or simple data points. It's starting to understand and interact with the world, or at least representations of it, in more complex ways, blurring those lines.
It definitely makes you wonder, as this continues, how AI's ability to process, visual information, voice, complex interactions, how that's going to reshape other services we use every day. What other parts of life are ripe for this kind of AI-driven transformation?
That is a great question to ponder. Lots to think about there. And remember, if you do have more questions on any of this or anything else tech-related, we are here to help here at Snarful, so reach out on our website if you have any more questions.
That's a wrap on today's top stories. Remember, tech doesn't have to be complicated, and we're here to help connect the dots. If you've got questions or want to learn more, visit us at snarful.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.